The room was laughing. Not soft laughter, not polite laughter. The kind of laughter that tells someone, "You don't belong here." "I'll translate it for $1,000, the girl said. Silence hit for half a second. Then the billionaire laughed the loudest. He leaned back in his leather chair, wineglass in hand, eyes dancing with mockery. 1,000? He repeated. For 10 minutes of talking? The girl didn't flinch. Yes, she said. 1,000. Around them, in the glass-walled conference room overlooking downtown Los Angeles, men in suits grinned. Assistants whispered. Phones recorded. The girl stood alone near the door. Worn sneakers, faded hoodie, a backpack with a broken zipper. Her name was Elena Cruz, and she had exactly $3.42 in her pocket. The billionaire Richard Hale owned half the buildings they could see through the window. "Do you even know what language this is?" Richard asked, tapping the thick document on the table. Elena nodded. "Yes." "Then prove it," he said. "Translate the first line. Free." Elena looked at the paper. Her lips moved silently. Then she said, "It says, if this contract is signed, the workers will never legally own what they build." The room went quiet. One man laughed nervously. "That's not what it says." Richard smiled. "Try again, little girl." Elena's voice didn't shake, but her hands did. "That's what it says." Richard leaned forward. "And if you're lying, then you lose nothing," Elena said. "But if I'm right, you'll owe me 1,000. The room buzzed. Richard waved his hand. "Fine. Entertain me." Elena took a breath and began to translate. 2 hours earlier, Elena had been standing outside the building for 3 hours. Not begging, not asking, just watching people go in. She cleaned offices at night. She slept on a cousin's couch. She sent half her money to her mother in Texas. She didn't come here for money. She came because she saw the sign. **, needed. Translator, immediate meeting, **. She spoke 4 languages. She learned them from migrant camps, street markets, old women who couldn't read, kids who cried in languages no one understood. Language had saved her. Today, it might save someone else. When she finally slipped in behind a group of executives, no one noticed. Until she spoke. Back in the room, Elena read aloud. Slow, clear. Every sentence made the smiles fade. She translated hidden clauses, traps, lies written in polite words. "This part," she said, pointing, "means if the workers get hurt, they can't sue." Someone dropped a pen. "This part means they'll never own their tools." A man whispered, "That's not in our summary." Richard's smile started to crack. "Who hired you?" he asked sharply. "No one," Elena said. "I came myself." The room shifted. "You walked into my building and started accusing me of fraud?" Richard said. "I walked in to tell the truth," Elena replied. Richard stood. He was tall, calm, dangerous. "You want $1,000, he said softly. "I'll give you 5 if you walk out right now and forget every word you said." Elena swallowed. 5,000 could change her life, but she shook her head. "Then finish translating," Richard said coldly. Elena continued. Her voice grew steadier. With every line, the contract became uglier. Then she reached the last page. She froze. Her eyes widened. She looked up at Richard. "This part," she whispered. "This part isn't about workers." Richard's face went hard. "What does it say?" someone asked. Elena looked at the page again. "It says the land doesn't belong to the company. she said slowly. It belongs to someone else. Richard said, "Stop." Elena didn't. "It says the land belongs to a woman who died 10 years ago." The room erupted. Richard slammed his hand on the table. "Enough." Elena looked straight at him. "And it says her daughter is still alive." The air went dead. Richard stared at her. Elena's heart began to race, because the name under that line was her mother's name, and the daughter described had the same birthday as her. Her voice broke. Who is this contract really stealing from? Richard's face lost its color. For the first time in the room, the billionaire didn't laugh. And Elena realized something terrifying. She didn't walk into a meeting. She walked into a secret. The room didn't move. No one spoke. The courtroom felt colder than the streets Elena grew up on. Wood benches, high walls, faces that looked at her like she didn't belong. She stood when they called her name, hands shaking, heart beating so fast it hurt. Richard Hale sat across the room in a dark suit that probably cost more than every meal Elena had eaten in her life combined. He didn't look at her. He stared straight ahead like she was already invisible. "State your connection to the case," the judge said. Elena swallowed. "My mother's name is in the contract. She died 10 years ago. That land was hers." A murmur moved through the room. Richard's lawyer stood. "Your Honor, this is emotional, not legal." Elena's voice cracked. She fought a company owned by him. 2 weeks later, she was dead. The judge raised a hand for silence. "Proceed carefully." A witness was called. The old junior lawyer from the meeting. He walked slowly to the stand, eyes never leaving Richard. "I worked on a land case in Oakland," he said. "The owner was a cleaner. Her name was Marisol Cruz. She refused to sell." Richard's jaw tightened. "She was hit by a car 2 weeks later," the lawyer continued. The file vanished. The land was transferred. Elena's knees felt weak. Richard finally stood. "This is lies built on memory." The judge turned to him. "Did your company handle that land?" Richard hesitated. Just a moment. But the moment said everything. "Yes," he said. Elena felt her heart break and burn at the same time. "Then why is my mother's name in your new contract?" she asked. Richard didn't answer. His lawyer rushed in. "We request a recess." The judge nodded. "Granted." People poured out of the room, whispering. Elena stayed standing. Richard walked toward her slowly. "No cameras now, no audience. You don't know what you're digging into," he said quietly. Elena looked up at him. "I've been poor my whole life. There's nothing left to lose." Richard's voice dropped. "Your mother didn't lose because she was poor. She lost because she stood alone." Elena stared. "So did I." He leaned closer. "And you will too," she whispered. "Not this time." He walked away. Elena sat down, shaking. She remembered her mother's hands, rough, tired, still gentle when they held her face. "I'll protect you," her mother used to say. Elena pressed her fingers together. "I'll protect you now," she whispered back. No one even breathed normally. Elena stood there holding the paper like it was burning her fingers. Her heart was beating so loud she thought they could hear it. Richard Hale stared at her, not like a man annoyed, not like a man amused, like a man who had just seen a ghost. "What did you say?" he asked slowly. Elena swallowed. "The land in this contract doesn't belong to your company. It belongs to a woman who died 10 years ago." "That's impossible," one of the lawyers snapped. Elena shook her head. "Her name is listed here. So is the date of her death." She turned the page so they could see. Richard stepped closer. His shadow swallowed her small frame. "Say the name," he said. Elena's throat went dry. She didn't want to. She already knew what it would do to her life. But she said it anyway. Marisol Cruz. The room gasped. That was her mother. Richard staggered back like he'd been hit. One of the men whispered, "That's the woman from the old case." Richard shot him a warning look. Elena felt dizzy. "You knew her?" Richard recovered his voice. "No. And you're lying." "I'm not," Elena said. "She's my mother." The words sounded unreal even to her. A woman at the table laughed nervously. "This is getting dramatic." Elena turned to her. "My mother died when I was 8. Hit and run. No driver ever found." Richard closed his eyes for half a second. Then he said quietly, "Remove her." 2 guards stepped forward. Elena backed up. "You put her name in that contract." "Why?" Richard's voice was sharp. "She doesn't belong in this room." Elena's chest burned. Neither did she belong in the street where she died. The guards grabbed her arms. "Wait," one of the lawyers said. "If she's right, this contract is illegal." Richard snapped. "She's not right," Elena shouted. "Then prove it. Show the real owner of the land." Richard didn't answer, because he couldn't. Elena felt fear twist into something stronger. Anger. "My mother worked cleaning offices just like I do," she said. "She fought someone over that land. Then she died. And now her name is in your contract like she never mattered." Richard's face went pale. One of the men whispered, "She's describing the case from Oakland." Elena turned. "What case?" Richard barked. "Enough." But the truth had started moving. Elena looked around the room. "Who killed my mother?" Silence answered her. The guards tightened their grip. Then someone at the back said quietly, "It was ruled an accident." Elena snapped her head around. "Who are you?" The man stood. Older. Gray hair. Nervous hands. "I was a junior attorney back then," he said. The file disappeared. "But..." Her name was Marisol Cruz. Elena's legs shook. Richard roared, "Sit down." The man didn't. "She sued one of our shell companies for land fraud. 2 weeks later she was dead." The room exploded in whispers. Elena whispered, "You killed her." Richard's voice cracked. "I didn't. But you benefited," Elena said. The guards hesitated now. Richard looked around and realized he was losing control. "Everyone out," he ordered. "This meeting is over." But no one moved. They were staring at Elena. The poor girl who walked in asking for $1,000 and walked into her mother's grave. Elena looked at Richard, her voice shaking but clear. "You laughed at me for asking for money, but you stole my whole life." Richard whispered, "You don't know what you're saying." Elena said, "Then tell me why my mother's name is in your contract." Richard didn't answer, and in that silence, Elena understood something terrifying. She didn't come to translate words. She came to translate a crime. The night after court, Elena didn't go home. She walked, past shuttered shops, past flickering streetlights, past the place where her mother used to sell tamales on weekends to pay rent. She stopped there. The stand was gone now. Just a dark patch on the sidewalk and a memory that wouldn't die. A man leaned against a wall across the street, watching her. She felt it before she saw him. "Can I help you?" she asked. He stepped into the light. Older. Nervous eyes. Hands that kept moving. "I worked for Hale," he said quietly. Her chest tightened. "Why are you here?" "Because I can't sleep anymore." He told her everything in pieces. How the land her mother owned blocked a luxury project. How Hale wanted it fast. How someone was paid to scare her. How someone else was paid when she didn't get scared enough. Elena felt sick. "You're saying he killed her?" The man shook. "I'm saying money made it easy for people to look away." She stared at the ground. "Why talk now?" He swallowed. "Because the driver who hit her is dead. Overdose. And I'm next if I keep quiet." Elena pulled out her phone. Say it again, slowly. He froze. What? I need the truth on record. He looked around, fear everywhere. Then he nodded. He spoke into her phone. Names, payments, dates, places. When he finished, his hands were shaking. You think this saves me? He asked. I don't know, Elena said, but it saves the truth. A car engine growled nearby. The man panicked. That's not my ride. Elena grabbed his arm. Run. They split. Elena ducked into an alley, heart pounding. Tires screeched. A door slammed. She didn't look back. She ran until her lungs burned. When she finally stopped, she leaned against a wall and cried for the first time since court. Not loud, not pretty, just the kind of crying that feels like something inside is breaking open. She looked at the recording on her phone. Her hands stopped shaking. Mom, she whispered. They don't get to hide anymore. Elena didn't sleep. She sat on the floor with her back against the wall, phone in her hands, listening to the man's voice over and over. Names, dates, payments. Every word was a knife. At 6:12 a.m., her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? Silence. Then breathing. Slow. Controlled. You have something that doesn't belong to you, a man said. Elena stood. Who is this? You already know. Her stomach dropped. You killed my mother. A soft laugh. No. I paid people who were willing to forget she was human. Rage flooded her. I recorded everything. Another pause. Then, so did I. Her heart stopped. What? You recorded a scared man. I recorded a hero who thinks she can win. The call ended. Her phone vibrated again. A video message. She opened it. It showed the man from last night, tied to a chair, blood on his lip. A voice off camera said, "Truth is expensive." Then the screen went black. Elena covered her mouth to stop herself from screaming. Her phone buzzed again. A location. A time. 2 words. Come alone. She thought of her mother's hands, always rough from work, always gentle on her face. She grabbed her jacket and left. The place was an unfinished high-rise near the river. Concrete. Wind. Silence. Hale stood at the top floor, hands in his coat, city behind him like he owned it. You're brave, he said. Or stupid. Let him go. Hale smiled. Give me the recording. Elena held up her phone. I sent copies. Hale's smile faded. To who? Everyone. Sirens wailed in the distance. Hale's eyes widened. You're lying. She pressed play. Her own voice echoed through the empty building. The confession, the names, the truth. Hale stepped back. Police cars flooded the street below. He ran, but there was nowhere to go. They took him in handcuffs, shouting, cameras flashing. Elena watched, shaking. Later, at the station, they told her the man was alive. Hurt, but alive. She finally went home. She sat where her mother used to sit, and for the first time, the room didn't feel empty. It felt finished. Not happy, not healed, but honest. And sometimes, that's where justice begins.